CBS News intelligence and national security reporter Olivia Gazis joins us now. We've been speaking about this for days now, Olivia. What more can you tell us about the suspect and now the confirmation of his arrest?
That's right. Well, so you just heard the Attorney General there describe that the FBI has taken into custody the suspected leaker of these documents, a 21-year-old named Jack Teixeira, a member of the intelligence arm of the Massachusetts Air National Guard. We're waiting for more of this investigation to play out, but we did hear moments ago also from the Pentagon spokesman who called these leaks a deliberate criminal act, while acknowledging that the Pentagon is taking a really hard look at its distribution lists and the rules for accessing highly classified documents, as it appears here Teixeira was able to do. There is a lot of questions about how he had that kind of access. His unit would typically handle intelligence collected by surveillance aircraft like Reaper and Predator drones, according to our Pentagon team. But again, the questions that are swirling is why somebody at his level would have had access to highly classified documents that look like they were prepared for really the senior-most Defense Department's leadership.
Really puzzling, that part of it. And Olivia, you and the team, the justice team here at CBS, have also been able to learn more about what some of those other people have said about what might have motivated Jack Teixeira into sharing these. Obviously, it's still an investigation that's ongoing, but tell all of our viewers again what you've learned.
Sure, absolutely. So we're hearing about this through accounts from somebody who described himself as a good friend, somebody who belongs to the small universe of people who had access to this Discord server where allegedly Teixeira first started sharing these documents months and months ago. These friends of Teixeira have described how it's a very tight-knit group that he belonged to, that he sort of served as a father figure who wanted to teach them about the ways of the world and the U.S. government, that this didn't look to be politically motivated, that these leaks didn't appear to be, as a result of his opposition to the war or as a result of a gripe related to his employer. He was really just a kind of 21-year-old engaging with peers, in some cases individuals younger than he was, and sharing this information, allegedly first typing it out, and then when that became too time-consuming, these reports say he started photographing these documents. What we don't know right now is whether he was sort of accessing them within the guidelines of his own clearance, or whether he was going past those guidelines, whether he was finding these documents in another way, whether he was picking them out of the trash can, or he was, sort of subverting, again, rules that the Pentagon had in place to look at these highly classified documents. Those are additional things that the investigation is going to have to bear out.
And Olivia, all of this has really blown up into almost an international incident. President Biden in Ireland right now said that earlier today that investigators were close to identifying the suspect. We know that the U.S. has had to have conversations with allies explaining how this all took place. But for our viewers who may not understand, essentially Discord is just a website with a lot of people chatting about whatever they feel like on the corners of the internet. And this information had been there for quite some time.
That's right, and that's one of the really perplexing and hard problems that the government is going to grapple with, because we don't want to get into a slippery slope where there are defense and intelligence agencies tasked with what amounts to domestic surveillance of these strange corners of the internet. They already learned via Snowden how dangerous that is. So there's going to be, no doubt, a hard look at how you nonetheless maintain an awareness of where these most sensitive classified documents can possibly be going, if they are in private chat rooms, as it appeared these initially were. If they're migrating into more public, accessible chat rooms, that's a different story, because those sorts of things, agencies are within their rights to monitor. But it's the question of, what are people who are cleared to access this information, what they might be doing with it, and how agencies can maintain an awareness of where these kinds of documents go.
Very, very interesting, and very interesting too, some of the things that were revealed through this. Olivia, tell us a little bit more about how some of our international partners have responded.
That's right. Well, what's come to light as a result of some of these documents is that the U.S. Has surveillance on friendly governments, right? So we've heard about the Israelis, we've heard about the South Koreans, we've heard about the Egyptians. That is an uncomfortable truth that often goes unacknowledged by the government. But information these days is national security, and so it's probably unsurprising to those in the know that these kinds of things go on. Another thing that the officials that I've been speaking with about these documents point out is that while they are more recent than some of the other massive leaks that we've seen in recent years from Snowden, from Manning, they nonetheless have a shelf life and are probably not as cataclysmic in terms of what they reveal on the battleground in Ukraine or in other contexts.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Olivia, we appreciate everything you're sharing with us right now. So we want you to stand by, and we just want to reset for our viewers all that we've just learned.
Major developments
in this breaking news event. A suspect has now been arrested in the leak of classified Pentagon documents, which was posted on social media sites. The
FBI took Jack Teixeira, a 21-year-old member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard. They said that it was done without incident. The documents, though, appeared to reveal details about the war in Ukraine. They also suggested that the U.S. is spying on key allies. We want to play for you what Attorney General Merrick Garland said just moments ago.
I'm joined today by Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco and FBI Director Paula Bate. Today, the Justice Department arrested Jack Douglas Teixeira in connection with an investigation into alleged unauthorized removal, retention, and transmission of classified national defense information. Teixeira is an employee of the United States Air Force National Guard. FBI agents took Teixeira into custody earlier this afternoon without incident. He will have an initial appearance at the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts. I want to thank the FBI, Justice Department prosecutors, and our colleagues at the Department of Defense for their diligent work on this case. This investigation is ongoing. We will share more information at the appropriate time. Thanks, everyone.
And as you see there, folks, the Attorney General did not take any additional questions. He just made that remark about over a minute and left the room. CBS News intelligence and national security reporter Olivia Gazis joins us now. Olivia, you and the intelligence team there in our CBS DC Bureau have been pouring through the initial documents and more that were discovered overnight. Just bring us up to speed on this suspect and his arrest.
Absolutely. So this is a 21-year-old man just brought into custody by the FBI, who we understand was a member of the intelligence arm of the Massachusetts Air National Guard. What we understood from the Pentagon's remarks today was that they consider this to be a deliberate criminal act, acknowledging that they are nonetheless reducing the universe of people who would have had access to these highly classified documents that it appears right now Teixeira allegedly was sharing with a small contained group of other users online on a channel called Discord. He apparently, according to some friends who have now spoken to the press, started doing this as far back as October and had been initially writing down some of the classified information before deciding that that was too laborious and started taking pictures of these documents. What we don't know was whether he was in fact authorized to access documents at this level of classification or whether he got to them another way.
Olivia, a lot of comparisons have been made between other military and intelligence documents that have been leaked by Snowden, by Manning. In what ways is this a very different case?
Sure. Well, some of the officials that I've been talking to about this case make the point that, in fact, some of the safeguards that were put in place in the aftermath of Manning and Snowden appear to be effective, because this was not a case where there was a DVD or a thumb drive, as Manning and Snowden used, to download thousands and thousands and thousands of classified documents. This looks pretty analog insofar as we know that these are paper documents printed off of printers that then images of which were uploaded onto these servers. So on the one hand, it's not comparable in terms of the scale of the number of documents, as far as we know right now, that were released. On the other hand, these documents are a lot more recent, and that's caused concern, especially as regards the conflict in Ukraine, where some very sensitive details about what they have and what they lack as they plan for their counteroffensive against Russia has come to light. Now, intelligence, as we have been talking about, is perishable. Even 40 days when it comes to a war, a land war in Europe, and battleground intelligence can be it can be an eternity, as one person put it to me. And then there, of course, are concerns about some of the sources that we've had listening to this Russian military and intelligence agencies drying up as a result of these disclosures.
And what's stunning, Olivia, in your reporting, which all viewers should take a look at cbsnews.com right now, is that once these documents were posted to Discord, they may have even been doctored at that time,
yes,
or as they were continued to be shared on other platforms, which really speaks to the risk all U.S. service men and women would be under if someone was to retaliate based on the documents. Just explain for us again who we believe this guy to be and why he's posting these images. I understand he was also sloppy. There was an image in the background of one of the pictures showing a hunting magazine. So what's his reason, does it seem, at this early stage for doing this?
That's right. Well, we don't have concrete evidence as to his motivation. He hasn't spoken out. We don't really know exactly why he was doing this. What we have heard in other press accounts based on interviews with somebody who calls himself his friend, who is, by the way, a teenager, was saying that he was uploading these documents to share with a confined group. He was not looking to, sort of undermine his employer or take a political stance. He was kind of showing off in a private chat room that we believe comprised something like 25 other users. The concerning thing about that is that among those 25 users, it seems as though there may have been other foreign nationals, including Ukrainian and Russian nationals, so there's a counterintelligence concern there. Wow. But really, this is not on par with, at least as it appears from these interviews that his colleagues are giving, that this was not motivated by something more nefarious than, I have access to some cool stuff, my friends, let me show you what that is.
Wow, and if anybody hasn't learned already, putting something out on the internet and expecting that it's going to keep a small circle is really a folly. All right, Olivia, great reporting. Thank you for staying on top of all of this for us.
Thank you.